Welcome to Prince Edward Island. From the red sand to the charming seaside towns, it's a gem. And I took a road trip trying delicious seafood and drinks and staying at some wonderful hotels and inns. This road trip was 4 days. I started in Charlottetown and then drove west a little over an hour to Tyne Valley. You could easily do this trip in reverse though. Check the description for all the route details. For lunch, my first stop was Backwoods Burgers, a modern craft beer restaurant with an epic menu, and they have a lot of great options, including not burgers, but since their specialty is burgers, I had to order the Backwoods Banger. They also serve Moth beer, a brewery around the corner, but I'll get to that local gem in a little bit. The burger was epic, the fries were perfect, and it was an awesome meal. It's one of those places where you could easily see the locals hang out, but I think everyone who came that I saw was actually a visitor. Just really good food, nice people, good music, modern, hip, it's fantastic. It's exactly the kind of place that I want to eat at. And what a burger. It was humongous. I'm very impressed with the portions. In Tyne Valley, I also stopped to visit Oyster Art. It's an art gallery by photographer Debbie Brady, and she creates gorgeous macro photos of oyster shells and turns them into dramatic, almost otherworldly scenes. From small prints to large landscapes, Brady's work is remarkable with beautiful depth and vibrant colors. Her process takes hours to capture dozens of macro photos, and then she puts those photos together to make these large, incredible landscapes and close-up views of unique oyster shells. Right. Driving to the southwest coast of the island, I arrived at West Point Lighthouse. It's a museum and inn with charming seaside rooms that let you walk directly out to the beach on the ground floor. Located alongside Cedar Dunes Provincial Park, the inn offers a fire pit, free continental breakfast and Wi-Fi, with TVs in the room and space to sit and enjoy the sound of the ocean on your balcony. I'll show you more from the Lighthouse Museum, but first, I had supper at Willie's Lighthouse Restaurant. A 3-minute drive from the inn or a nice little walk away. They have a great menu with lots of seafood, and the fish and chips was absolutely delicious. The view here is fantastic, and I have really enjoyed having this little opportunity to kind of have a room right on the beach, basically, which is, I don't think, something I've ever had before, so it's very cool. It's a wonderful spot. It's the kind of place you definitely want to come and spend a couple days so that you can walk around, see the beach, see the park. This is basically the edge of a whole park area. It's a wonderful spot. The other things that I really love about this place that I didn't even notice, I didn't even think about it before I had kind of come here, but last night I was posting some stuff on Instagram, and the location, when I tried to add a location to it, it added Backwoods in New Brunswick, and I was a little confused. And so then later I was looking at a map, and I realized that literally right over there, that's Backwoods, New Brunswick, which is a special place to me because my family, my father's side of the family, had a cottage there for years, and it was a place I went to as a kid all the time, and so I really have a fond memory of Backwoods and hope to get back at some point, but I find it really interesting. But yeah, right over there, really not far, is Backwoods. Next morning, I had a great breakfast at the inn, and then I went into the lighthouse to see all the history of the building, the people who kept it running, and see how it changed over the decades. Just all the antiques and things as well, which I really find interesting now. My family didn't have an organ like that, but my family we had an old house in New Brunswick for a long time until just a couple of years ago we sold it off, but it's amazing to me how much this room reminds me of my family's home because we had antiques and things that looked a lot like this stuff. Really fascinating though to see the people who lived here and ran the lighthouse. It's incredible stuff. The Lighthouse Museum is really a peek into the whole history of PEI too, and it's interesting seeing so much of the story that's been preserved here. So down below here, there's actually rooms that you can stay in the lighthouse, not just beside it, just actually right in the lighthouse, which is amazing. And then this space is dedicated to the actual, like, the lights and the mechanics. And they've also showing off how the lighthouse was actually built, which is interesting. And they've got a whole bunch of the glass and everything here to show off how they actually would have lit up the lighthouse. It's amazing. And then this isn't even the top, so I'm gonna head up one more level. So I have to say, as far as spaces go, this is actually one of the easiest lighthouses I've ever climbed up, and it's an amazing space. They've even got the original light that would, well, I don't think original maybe, but one of the lights that would have been lit up with oil instead of electric or anything else. It's amazing. Showing off all the lenses and things. It's remarkable, all the work that would have gone into keeping this lighthouse going, saving ships from disaster. But I've been up, I think this is the third level I've climbed up. This isn't even the top. I'm still going up a little bit higher. So here, let's head on up. Wow. All right, let's go. This is amazing. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze. Wow. Check that out. This is fantastic. It really is bright. Do not look to the light. Good tip. Yeah, this is amazing view. You can see so far up the beach. Wow. Very, very cool. I've actually been in a number of lighthouses before, but I think this might be the biggest. I've never been in one that has such a huge space at the top. All the other ones I've been in have always been quite small. This is amazing. The real trick might be getting back downstairs. But wow. It feels like rain is almost a natural environment to see a lighthouse in, so here I am. I wasn't gonna walk much, but I've got waterproof shoes on. I just did a hike in Switzerland in the mountains in the rain. I think I can survive a little bit of rain here. Especially to catch the view. It really is a lovely spot. And rugged and just so charming. Honestly, I don't hate it. It's wet, but whatever. It's also lovely. I can't see this view in Toronto, so this is a good view to have, even on a rainy day. I was debating if I was gonna walk down here, and I'm like, why wouldn't I walk down here? It's just a little rain, not a big deal, and it is beautiful. The red sand and like the shells everywhere, and it's fantastic. I love finding little gems like this. I'm not gonna take this home, but I love how pretty it is, and then you flip it over and it's like pearl. It's so beautiful. A short drive away, I arrived at O'Leary to explore the Potato Museum, a real hidden gem that looks at the history of potatoes and farming in PEI, one of the province's major staples. The museum is really interesting and perfect for a stop for an hour to learn about the history of the root vegetable and see how local farmers grew the crops, harvested them, and all the things that they're used for. And there's a gift shop with chips and souvenirs and a restaurant that serves lots of goodies. You can watch Rick Mercer's video from when he learned about potatoes on PEI. And yes, there's even a bit of info on making vodka. And one highlight is the mortuary with examples of all the diseases that potatoes get, complete with little potato caskets. For a real dive into the history of farming, there's even a museum of farm equipment. complete with a recreation of a carriage workshop like what would have existed on the island 100 years ago before people had cars. There's also a section of the museum dedicated to local history with items from the wars and what soldiers wore, a recreation of an old doctor's office, old record players and radios, and even toys. For anyone under 30, some of this will look familiar from parents and grandparents' homes, and for anyone under 20, it may be a real shock seeing what life was like 40 and more years ago. And if you're hungry, you can stop for potato soup, baked potatoes, fries, and dessert before picking up a few things in the store on your way out. Okay, I've toured the museum. I've had some potato soup. I brought home some potato chips, covered bridge potato chips. These are my favorite chips in the world. And that was awesome. I really love that at the back there's the farm exhibit as well, where you can tour kind of where farming equipment has gone over the years, especially because at the back they have a whole carriage repair shop and a blacksmith. It's amazing. Great representation of the history. There's also the community museum, and I love that for the fact that they had so much stuff that represents the history of PEI and things that have happened here, especially like medical and everything else. It's fascinating. It's a great place. I'm off now to Moth Brewing. I missed them yesterday because they had closed at 5. So I'm gonna head over there, check out their beer. They have an Oyster beer, which I'm really looking forward to trying. And then I head over to Summerside. Moth Brewing is, without a doubt, one of the best breweries that I've ever sampled. They're a short drive from Tyne Valley, and they're small and independent, and I can't get over how great everything was, especially Oyster Thief and Red Dirt Road, but everything was incredible. And they have a charming community space where people gather and enjoy all the delicious brews, and you can find their beer on tap at a few nearby restaurants. About 40 minutes away is Summerside, and I stopped at Spinnakers Landing, a seaside space with restaurants and stores, and it was quiet in the middle of the week in late September, but it's a bustling spot for lunch and dinner and shopping during peak season. A few steps to the back of the space, you can sit out and enjoy your meal in hotter weather, and you're actually sitting right on the ocean. It's a beautiful space. Around the corner from the shops, you can also stop at Eptic Art. It's a local gallery, and when I was there, they were featuring the work of Summerside quilters, and it's a great place to stop and buy local art and keepsakes from your trip, including paintings, pottery, woodworking, toys, books, and even stained glass. And across the street is the Loyalist Country Inn. It's a charming independent hotel in the town with rooms that can sleep from 2 to 5 people, and rates include breakfast. Welcome to my little home away from home at the Loyalist Country Inn. I'm in Summerside, PEI. It's a beautiful little sitting area, couches and everything. And then there's a little nook here, a little kitchen nook with microwave and coffee maker. There's a fridge, and this is the bedroom. Nice big king size bed, the TV, desk, which is very important to me. There seems to be a very big closet. The rooms are clean, modern, and bright, and there's an indoor pool on the site as well, so you can get down and have a little bit of a swim before you head out and enjoy the town. For supper, I went to Evermoore Brewing, an excellent restaurant that's literally around the corner from the Loyalist Country Inn. And they have a wonderfully lively vibe with a musician performing some nights, and they have great food with mussels, burgers, vegan options, pizzas, and more. Their beer was really good, and it's a charming spot to stop for the evening, enjoy some local flavor, and the hospitality of Summerside. You can stop in just for pints in the bar, or reserve a table if you plan to have a meal and enjoy some music. The historic town is very walkable, so you can easily explore from the hotel around Main Street and see City Hall, museums, stores, and monuments, and then make your way to Holman's Ice Cream Parlour, an institution in the city and a historic home. Their ice cream and treats are homemade with so many options, made with local dairy, and you're gonna wanna come back for a few scoops while you're in town. Wow, I've never been to an ice cream place inside of a historic home. And the story behind the garden that dates back to like 1837 is fascinating. I walked around the next morning to see a few stores and shops, and then I grabbed a coffee at Samuel's Coffee House before I hit the road for my next stop. So I left Summerside this morning. I had a last little walk around before I left town, and I drove about 30 minutes and now I'm in Victoria by the Sea. It's this cute little town. They've got the Lobster barn where I'm about to go have lunch. I've got a little beachfront here that I'm gonna go walk after and hope that the sky is clear. I do see there's blue sky, so I'm hoping it stays and sticks around and moves through here a bit better. But I'm really looking forward to walking around here, and then I'm headed off towards one of the provincial parks. I also found a distillery, and I want to go check them out because they're an award-winning distillery, and they're not too far from here on my way to Charlottetown. So then tonight I'll be in Charlottetown. Got plans for another seafood meal tonight, I'm hoping. I've got the Lobster barn. I'm gonna probably have a lobster bun here. And yeah, it's gonna be an interesting day. So nice to get out for a walk today, and hopefully I'm done with the rain. Victoria by the Sea is easily one of the most charming towns that I've visited on the East Coast, aside from perhaps Charlottetown. It's small and quaint with shops and restaurants and inns and B&Bs, and lunch at the Lobster barn was fantastic. They have a few options on the menu, but if you love a good lobster roll, they have 3 options and they're so delicious. You can even walk up to the order window in summer and order from their pier and take lunch to go. Next door is also Tidewater, a clothing and souvenir shop with t-shirts and lots of goodies. And then from there you can walk the whole town in about 20 minutes, including their iconic classic maritime lighthouse. Around the corner, Island Chocolates has every treat you could want. They have fudge and hand-dipped chocolates, chocolate-covered goodies like coffee beans or blueberries, and they have these amazing dipping fish to make hot chocolate, as well as cinnamon stir sticks. Or you can pick up chocolate frogs at one of their many clusters and homemade treats. If you can't wait to eat them, there's even seating so you can sit and have a coffee and eat a few handfuls of chocolate. The town is so beautiful and bright and clean, and you can easily park and leave your car while you see all the sights. I've heard they have great stuff. Unfortunately not open while I'm here. There's theater here, pottery. The rain has come back to, well, the drizzle has come back to get me, but it can't keep my spirits down because this town, Victoria, is so pretty. It's such a quaint little town, not huge, quite small really, but so much going on. There's a chocolate shop, a couple restaurants. It's very cool. As it's fall, it's not quite as active here, which is kind of nice if you want to come shop and look around. There is theater. If you're staying nearby, you can come here for some shows. It's such a great town. Also, I have to say that I've been through quite a few towns now in Prince Edward Island, and this is by far the prettiest. It is beautiful here. Easy drive between either Charlottetown, or if you're coming from the west, if you're coming from Summerside. Very easy drive, short distance, lots around here as well. If you made this your hub and you stayed here, which there are, I think, 1 or 2 places you can stay in town, there's lots to do in the area. So yeah, very cool. I will have to come back someday. I'd like to be here in the summer when it's bustling, but as a quiet opportunity, very cool. Okay, I've made it to Bonshaw Hills Provincial Park. It's this beautiful little park that goes through an area just near Victoria and not too far from Summerside or Charlottetown. So I'm taking a little hike. Haven't had much time to walk yet, so nice to get out and see some of PEI's nature. And it is beautiful little park. There's actually 2 parks right near here, this one and one other. So there's quite a few options for hiking around here, and there are provincial national parks throughout Prince Edward Island. So if you're a hiker, definitely a place that you want to come explore. I really love that not only do they say the trails and how easy or hard they are at the top, but there's also the map right there, so you always know where you are and where you're headed. PEI has 8 camping parks and 12 day-use parks, including some right by the ocean, so there are lots of places to go hiking and walking, not to mention enjoy water sports. And of course, there's also the National Park of Canada that's north of Charlottetown. Wow, this is nice. Bonshaw Hills Park has 18 kilometers of trails, and you can cycle here. There's picnic tables, barbecues, and a natural playground with free parking. A little further up the road, Deep Roots Distillery in Warren Grove has a wide range of spirits, liqueurs, as well as cider and maple syrup for sale. And their award-winning artisan gin, vodka, and flavored spirits are a perfect treat to bring home from your trip. They have everything from absinthe to moonshine, bottled cocktails, and flavored spirits like limoncello, spiced apple, maple, or blueberry liqueur. They also sell Little Pig cider and Sugar Shack maple syrup, and you can try samples before you buy. And then it was on to Charlottetown for my last day in PEI. I checked into the stunning Great George Hotel, a unique luxury boutique hotel with suites inside a number of connected historic buildings. The wonderfully charming space is modern and elegant and includes breakfast, parking, and it steps from the heart of the city. The main lobby is lively and it's the hub for the suites where you can find cookies and coffee and breakfast. And outside, there's also a lovely garden space where you can sit and enjoy the scenery. For my stay, I had a stunning romantic hideaway suite that was absolutely incredible, with this classy living space, fireplace, jacuzzi, king-size bed, spread out over 2 floors. Welcome to the Great George. This is my wonderful foyer with this art and books and everything. And then if we head upstairs, we can see my bedroom. Inside and out, the hotel has an amazing and fantastic attention to detail. It's a perfect place for romantic getaway, but they also have rooms perfect for families with children. So I've got a jacuzzi tub with a chandelier in the corner. And there's the bed and desk and everything, and then a beautiful little bathroom here with a shower. In the evening, I took a walk and explored downtown. There was theater on in the Confederation Center of the Arts, and I went to Slaymaker and Nichols for dinner. It's a bustling, amazing restaurant, and it was so nice I decided I had to sit outside. But there is indoor seating, just plan to book reservations early as they can be busy. I had their Slaymaker lager with perfectly seared scallops, and then for my main, I had seared fish with potatoes and vegetables. I highly recommend Slaymaker and Nichols for dinner, but there are lots of restaurants and bars in town, and it's one of the most laid-back cities I've seen. Just wonderful to explore. The next morning, after a fantastic breakfast at the hotel, I took a walk around town to explore the harbor and see a few stores and highlights. You could easily walk most of the town in about 30 or 40 minutes, so you can park and walk between everything you want to see. Oh my god, it's sunny again. Bask in it. Everywhere you turn, you're going to find a little piece of local history, including this plaque I saw about the Great Fire of 1866 and how the city rebuilt. And of course, there's a lot of history on Confederation, the ships of that era that kept PEI connected to the world, and famous people who came from the island. Between Water Street and Lower Water Street, you're going to find lots of little shops, places to hang out, and food and everything else. It's a great space. It's beautiful, right on the ocean. And then you'll even find lots and lots of seafood, especially in this little space right on the water. And if you walk a little further to the west, you'll find Queen Street, and that's where you'll find all the amazing shops and main restaurants and bars. Well, that's pretty much it for my Prince Edward Island adventure. I've had a great time. I'm just about to go off and pick up a new car to head to New Brunswick. But it's been awesome. I really love all the things I was able to do. There was so much to explore. I certainly scratched the surface. I don't know that I got done as much as I would have liked to, for sure, but given the amount of time I had and the bit of rain I got, I think I did pretty well. It was a lot of fun. And the hospitality and the people I got to talk to, I mean, those are the stories that are most interesting. I got to speak to brewers, chocolate makers, people who worked in hotels, people who were traveling. It's really interesting seeing the people who are here, who are from Prince Edward Island and who are traveling to see it. It's a wonderful mix of people. So I really enjoyed it here. If you're looking for good PEI treats, check out the Anna Green Gables chocolate shop, where you can also buy her raspberry cordial and other treats like chocolate covered potato chips. And by random chance, I found one more very unique shop, Northern Waters Knitwear on Richmond Street. It's a short walk from Main Street. They sell amazing local art, but the major highlight is all their sweaters and knitwear that they make in the back of the store. You can even watch them work. Okay, this store is the real deal. I am so impressed. They make their sweaters and their knitwear on site, which I don't think I've ever seen before in my life. And they import a bunch of stuff. They have Canadian products, Canadian leather products like hats and things, and then tons of sweaters. And they're those beautiful wool sweaters that you'd expect to find in like Ireland and Scotland. And they're so well made. And I'm blown away. I'm so glad I discovered that shop. It's one of the best stores I've seen in my travels, probably. I mean, especially if you want something warm and cozy, and a good sweater is hard to find these days. Okay, I had to make one more stop before I left Prince Edward Island. I hadn't been to many beaches. I thought, there's got to be one near to Confederation Bridge. And sure enough, I found this little park with this little beach. The tide is coming in, so it's not much beach at the moment, but I'm glad I stopped. It's a really neat spot. It's kind of pretty. There's even a waterfall behind me that's coming right out of the top of the hill. It's very interesting, but yeah, cool spot. I'm glad I stopped. PEI is absolutely beautiful from mid-June to mid-September, but it's also quieter and still wonderful in September into early October, and there are lots of fall festivals to enjoy. If you plan to drive to PEI, keep in mind that it's free to use Confederation Bridge on the way in, but there is a charge when you leave, so keep that in mind. You'll have to pay as you head out. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Check the description for more details on the trip and to get links to my full story on the trip. And otherwise, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. It means a lot, and it really does help my channel quite a bit if you can do any of those things. Thank you once again.